We are day 143 of My Daily Faith Pale, Saturday, May 23rd. More precious than oxen, the intentional love of God. Can a woman forget her nursing child and not have compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget. I will not forget you. Isaiah 49:15. In the ancient pages of the Old Testament, we find the meticulous heart of God revealed even in the way his people were instructed to treat their livestock. God was specific about stewardship, outlining rules against mistreating animals. A powerful illustration comes from the commandment, do not muzzle the mouth of the ox. This directive, rooted in the practical needs of the laborers of that day, meant that when an ox was diligently threshing grain on the farm floor, it should not be prevented from eating as it worked. If the ox desired a blade of grass or a leaf along the way, it should have the liberty to partake. God was deeply concerned that the creature laboring for man's benefit should not be deprived of sustenance during its toil. If God established such detailed parameters for fairness, safety, and well-being regarding animals, creatures of lesser value, how much more concerned must he be about fair and kind treatment towards you? Are you not infinitely more precious than the animals? This very principle of surpassing care is echoed by Jesus. When we grasp the depths of God's benevolence, his deep-seated love, and his compassion, our entire mindset shifts. God's affection is so profound that he uses the most tender human relationship as a point of comparison and then surpasses it. He speaks of the instinct of a nursing mother, how fiercely protective she is over her breastfeeding child, noting that such a mother will never abandon or forget that child. Yet God declares that even if a nursing mother could possibly forget, he promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you. This is God's reassuring us over and over of his boundless compassion and unwavering care. When you wake up each morning, make it a conscious act to remember that God is actively interested in you. As you step out the door, walk with the assurance that God is watching out for you and looking out for your well-being. This awareness provides an unshakable sense of security. It is precisely this security that the enemy attempts to dismantle, trying to sow seeds of doubt about God's love, whispering that perhaps you have erred so badly that God has turned away. This is false. It is contrary to his very nature. The scripture affirms that even in our own unfaithfulness, he remains faithful because he cannot deny himself. God's character is so inherently loving and compassionate that it even influences how he handles justice. Consider this fascinating passage. When God justly punishes an enemy who has wronged you, you are cautioned not to celebrate excessively. Do not laugh too hard or gloat over their downfall. Why? Because if your jubilation is too great, God might be moved with compassion for your humbled enemy in that moment of softened mercy towards them. He might turn his attention towards dealing with you instead. See how intricate and intentional God's fairness is? He executes justice, but he guards against human cruelty and malice, even in victory. Therefore, know this, God is intentional about you. He loves you. He cares deeply about your affairs and your life. Approach him boldly in prayer, speaking to him as your loving Father. He's guarding you. He intentionally watches over you. His thoughts concerning you are always for good and never for harm. Step out today knowing that God's for you, with you. He sees you. He loves you immensely. You are God-backed. Man, this is a great passage that's been used a few times in this book, that even if a nursing mother forgets her child, the Lord will never forget you. Isaiah has a lot of great passages, of course. We must remember who God told us that we are. We are his children, right? We are made in his image, in his likeness. We're not just anybody. He knows us by names. He knows the hairs on our head. He knew us before we were formed in the womb. This type of Father, our spiritual Father, the one who has created all beings, has put us on top of the food chain to be able to command all the beasts of the land and to be able to be fruitful and multiply. He's made us distinct from other creatures that were created as well. He's made us above angels, and he cares for us. He will always watch for us, and he will always protect us, right? So you have to remember, as it said here, that even as he's dealing with your enemies, make sure not to laugh too hard in their downfall or gloat, because in that moment he may find compassion and help them, and in turn deal with you. You don't want that. This is not for me to boast, but I do find that behind closed doors, typically, you can wish a whole bunch of things, but when something actually happens to somebody, sometimes you find a heart of compassion. And I find that I have that. Not everybody has that. So for me, I can't relate that I'd be laughing too hard. I'm not really that type of person. But I can understand if someone's anger and hatred towards someone triumphs over their compassion or their love for humanity in general. Luckily, it's not something that I personally struggle with, so I thank God that he made me that way. And I think that if I saw even my worst enemy going through it, I'd find some compassion to try to help him out, because whatever you were mad about at that point, it's over, it's been dealt with. There's no point holding on to it. So just remember, be compassionate with your enemies as well. And love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go and preach the gospel to people whenever you find that opportunity. Read the book. Read this book as well, because it will put some scriptures to real life scenarios. It's a great book. It's by Obina Ejimogu. On Instagram is the God Back Guy. And the book is called My Daily Faith Pill.